Going, folks? This is Matthew Masek with the Rick Animal team at Remax First Choice, and today's video is going to be a lot more informative. I'm going to be talking to Tom Hernan of Blue Hen Insurance, and we're going to have a discussion about homeowners insurance policies as it relates to natural disasters. I think now more than ever, people have questions about how to prepare for this and what to do next if something like this ever, God forbid, happens again. And let me just say, my heart goes out to anyone who's been negatively affected by what's happened. I think as a lifelong IoT resident, you never really think something like this is going to happen until it happens. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you enjoy. All right, everybody. I'm here with Tom Hernan of Blue Hen Insurance. Tom, how you doing today?
Morning. Good morning. How are you, Matt?
Good. So I'm sure people have questions now more than ever regarding homeowners insurance. So I kind of wanted to give you, being the expert and whatnot, I kind of wanted to get your 2 cents on what happens before, after, during a hurricane regarding people's homeowners insurance. So do most homeowners insurance policy cover events like what we saw last week, hurricanes, tornadoes, and whatnot?
Yes, especially in the state of Delaware. It's written in the policy where that wind and hurricane and tornado damage is part of their policies.
Okay, gotcha. So are there usually any out-of-pocket fees, like deductibles, regarding homeowners insurance and these kind of events?
Yeah, so the way most contracts are structured, Matt, is the homeowner is responsible for a deductible. The deductible basically is the out-of-pocket cost before the insurance is turned on. Most homeowners have $1,000 deductible. I will tell you, sometimes in the beach areas, people go higher because if it's a secondary home or if there's a wind or a hurricane requirement, that number might be higher. But if someone has $1,000 deductible, that's fairly standard. After that deductible is hit, the insurance company steps in and they take care of the rest. Prime example of that might be, especially with all the trees that were damaged in the area last week. You have a tree that causes damage to your home. Well, the contractor might come in and say, well, hey, we need to rebuild this, rebuild this, rebuild this. You need shingles, you need siding, you need windows. It could be a $10,000 to $40,000 event, but the homeowner only is responsible for the first 1,000.
Okay, gotcha. Just so they have like a little bit of skin in the game.
Exactly. And if somebody were to steal one of our clients or one of our friends' bicycle, that's really not what you want to use your homeowner's insurance for. Something small like that is, I don't want to say it's not significant, because it is significant. You feel violated, you're upset. But if you can go to the store and replace a bicycle for $50, the insurance company doesn't want you to turn that claim in. If you turn around and you have a $40,000, $100,000 kitchen fire, or a tree that falls in your living room, that's when it's outside of your financial control, and that's when you do want to turn on the insurance, and you do want to rely on them for coverage.
Okay, gotcha. So you really want to pick and choose your battles? Is that what you're saying?
I think you have to look at your wallet, and if your wallet can bear the expense, yeah, I don't know if I would want to encourage someone to make a claim. Prime example I usually kind of consult and talk to clients about is, if you have a $1,200 event and you have $1,000 deductible, so you're owed $200.
Right.
But now you're going to lose your claims-free discount. You're going to see price changes on the renewal. And if you have another loss, now all of a sudden you could be dropped by the carrier. Like, they don't have to continue that relationship with you. So, when it's something small, and again, $1,200 is a big number, but at the same time, it's just a $200 reimbursement. I don't always tell people to turn that in, just because when you do have a significant event like last week, now you really do need the insurance, and you're going to be making a significant claim.
Exactly. So what happened last week was pretty awful. My heart goes out to anyone who's been affected. But looking to the future, what are some things people can do to maybe prevent damage, or is there anything they can do ahead of time to get their insurance company ready, or what are some preventative measures homeowners can take?
Great question. So the first thing is, our state has a very good resource online. It's called preparede.org.
Okay.
And Matt, it goes through there and they talk about, hey, how to essentially create an emergency kit. What things are important to you? Do you have your medicines? Do you have your emergency documents? Do you have photos of your children? Because, if the area was forced to evacuate and God forbid you lost the child, one of the first things you're going to need to show to law enforcement is a photo of your child.
Right.
Very, very simple, very common sense things, but also, the average human, especially if we have to evacuate and we have to leave the area, we basically need a gallon of water per day. And if you don't have that with you, you're going to be forced to either look for water sources that are dirty, contaminated, they're not safe to drink, and then you're going to put yourself at additional risk. So just being able to have, again, preparede.org, where you can go and look at what type of resources and what type of things you should have. I think it's a really good starting point.
Okay.
The other part is when it comes to someone's home, simple things like making sure the gutters and the downspouts are clean. Whenever we have a tornado or a hurricane, we're going to, just like last week, we got massive amount of rain. And if your home can't handle, or your roof can't handle, your gutters can't handle the rain, well, now there's going to be additional damage caused to your home. The other thing is, especially if we are going to lose power, just making sure you have your like a cell phone charger, or you have batteries and flashlights, because you might be off out of power for a day, 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Just little things like that make it a little bit more comfortable for us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Because I don't think anyone ever expects this to happen. I know sometimes the weatherman can tell you you're going to get a storm, but I think especially around here, I've never seen anything like it in my life. So I think it was kind of, something you prepare for a little bit, but not a necessarily real possibility.
Last week was unprecedented.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew we were going to get hit with a storm coming from down south, and we've gotten hit with those plenty of times, but just watching it unfold was absolutely terrifying, to say the least. And again, my heart goes out to anyone who's really negatively affected. So say if someone's house does get severely damaged in a storm, what is the first thing they should do regarding their insurance company? Who do they call, and what do they say?
One of the things that if you have the opportunity to prepare, is you want to have a copy of your policy with you. Okay. On the policy, there will be the claims number. I did field a lot of calls last week. I am here for my clients, but at the end of the day, I don't represent the insurance company on the claims side.
Right.
So they need to work with claims. The claims adjusters have the checkbook, where they can get that support right away from the insurance company, whether it be the loss of use provision. So if your home's deemed inhabitable, you can't live there, the insurance company will find you, whether it be a hotel, an apartment, some kind of temporary housing. So that way you're not displaced. The other part is pictures. I can't stress it enough to people. Take pictures of the damage, because when the claims adjuster, when they accept 3 months worth of claims in 2 days,
right,
it's just the system that no matter how good your carrier is, how good their financials is, a catastrophic event just forces us all to, kind of, I don't want to use the word fend for ourselves, but, you need to document things. But also too, if your house has like a hole in the roof, it's your obligation as the homeowner to prevent additional damage. So if you go to Lowe's, or Home Depot, or wherever, whatever your store is, and you get the supplies needed, like a tarp or shingles or dry plywood, to prevent additional damage, save your receipts. The claims adjusters will reimburse you for that expense.
Okay.
That's part of the homeowner's responsibility, but also whatever you incur, just keep your receipts. The claims adjusters want to see them.
Okay, I got you. That kind of leads me into another question I had. So say someone has a house whose roof has a 20-year lifespan, and that house is now 20 years old. So the roof's not necessarily dead, quote unquote, but it is near the end of its life. There are a few missing shingles. And let's say a hurricane comes and just tears that roof completely off. Are those homeowners covered? I know it can be a very gray area, so you probably can't give me a definitive answer. But are those homeowners covered, being that the roof was already near the end of its life? Or in your experience, what are some possibilities that could come from that?
Yeah, sure, Matt. So I'm going to go back to, it depends.
Okay.
And it's a very, very direct question from you, which I do not mind. But when we're looking at the entire insurance industry, different companies have different guidelines and standards.
Okay.
Some companies, when a roof approaches 20 years, you get a diminished value on the replacement of it. So they're actually only going to give you the actual cash value of the roof. So typically in a homeowner's contract or in a policy, there's actually a depreciation schedule. So you can look at a roof and say, well, it's $10,000 to get a new one. And the insurance company says, well, since the roof's 20 years old, we're going to give you this percentage.
Gotcha.
Other companies will actually give you a brand new roof. So it kind of, it's very broad on what's available. And I'll also turn around and say, it is and at the end of the day, it is the consumer's responsibility, the homeowners, to read their contract, to read their policy. I'm the first one to tell somebody, not all contracts are created equal.
Oh, yeah.
I could be the best salesman out there. I could be the worst salesman out there. But the way I try to structure things and the way I try to encourage people to cover themselves and protect themselves, I don't go bare bones. I just think it's too important. And I think it's, when someone calls and they want to have a quote or they want to insure their home, I know they're looking sometimes just at the bottom line because money's going in every which direction.
Right.
But you want to have that peace of mind. You want to make sure that you have some strength, some validity to your policy.
Oh yeah. I think because when you're buying a house, you're just throwing money all over the place on inspections, appraisals, and then you have this homeowners insurance. And either way, it does protect your house enough, at least in your opinion. So you're probably going to go with what's cheaper because you're not thinking a tornado is going to come or a hurricane's going to come. And it's this unfortunate rabbit hole. But is that something you could tell someone, say they're looking at different policies, could you tell them whether or not the company, but while they're shopping with you, of course, and they're shopping different policies, could you tell them whether or not a certain insurance policy would cover them for the entirety of the roof, or whether or not they would use that depreciation schedule?
Great question. And I typically try to avoid the companies that have the depreciation schedule.
Okay.
So when my average client calls and they're saying like, hey, my roof's 22, 23 years old, what can we do? That's part of the conversation. And I want to be very transparent about it. If someone is extremely price conscious, extremely like, I don't want to pay for this, I don't want to pay for this, that's fine. It's their policy, but we're going to make sure, or I'm going to make sure, my team's going to make sure that it's out there and that there's no surprises, because I don't want you to get into a situation like last week and then realize that you may have accepted the wrong type of policy.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Gotcha. Let's say a homeowner is looking to switch insurance. Who should they call?
Matt, you called me. I'm right here.
Tom Hernan, everyone, with Blue Hen Insurance. I'm going to plug your information down below, up top, wherever this is posted, if it's Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. I'm also going to put the preparedde.org link somewhere in the description. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please call Tom. If you want to buy a house or sell a house, please call me. I'm Matt. Tom, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Hernan of Blue Hen Insurance. Again, I'm going to be linking his information in the description of this video. Tom, thank you so much for your time. I'm Matthew Musetic with the Rick Animal team at RE/MAX First Choice. And if you have any questions at all, not about insurance, because Tom's your guy to go to now, you can reach me at 302-312-0515. Hope to hear from you guys soon.